Welcome to Blink 155, the internet's 17th, 18th podcast about the band Blink 182. For the last 200 years, we have been discussing every single Blink 182 song in excruciating, intimate, compelling, often funny detail. Today's a very special episode, however. Many of you may know that we finished talking about Blink 182 back in the middle part of the pandemic, back in November of 2020. We have all aged and changed so much in that time. And some of you who have been there since the beginning may remember a very special episode of Blink 155 about the band's maybe actual biggest song. Of course, I'm talking about Down. No, I'm not. I'm not talking about Down. I am, of course, talking about Feeling This. No, wait, I'm not talking about that either. What am I talking about, folks? You know what time it is. We're talking about All the Small Things. Back in January of 2018, which is a disturbing time to think about only because it feels close and is in fact not at all. It's deep, deep, deep in the rear view. Back on January 5th of 2018, Blink 155 released its 26th episode. Still a baby podcast. I don't know that the niche was a thing yet. I think Josiah and I were still feeling each other out, and some of you were still feeling us out. And I went away on vacation, but we didn't want to miss a week. We never missed a single week of that podcast. We've matured a little bit. We've taken some time off from time to time in this new iteration. But with Blink 155, we were committed to a cause and to a vision. And so as a result, I believe it's really hard to remember what happened. I think we maybe batch recorded some stuff, but it was the holidays, hectic. Obviously, I needed to go out and party a lot on New Year's Eve, and that, as an old man, although in 2018 I was not yet an old man, I was young and virile, probably knocked me out for a couple of days. And so I abandoned Josiah, as I have done many times in our relationship. I abandoned him and I left him to record an episode all on his own, and we thought it was the funniest possible thing that we could do to make Josiah talk about All the Small Things, the band's biggest commercial hit, on his own. When I came back and I asked him how it went, and he said it was excruciating. He said it was deeply, deeply unpleasant. He found the process of talking alone to be, I guess, akin to being alone with your thoughts, which we all know is the worst thing that can happen to you. But it's also important to note that Josiah edited himself. He would talk for a few minutes, I think get weirded out, and then decide that he needed to stop recording, collect himself, look at his notes, return to recording. So what you heard is I actually don't know how long that episode is. I could easily look that up, but I'm not going to, because to prove that I am the superior podcaster to Josiah Hughes, I am going to do an All the Small Things episode with no cuts. That's right, I'm like David Blaine. I'm the David Blaine of pop punk podcasting. Here alone in this room, honestly realizing how intensely weird I'm not going to do too long of I'm not going to do like an hour and a half, because Josiah already did the covers, and I'm not going to do the covers. So you're going to get a slightly more focused episode from me, but still, I will be talking about the song All the Small Things. This is something that has been demanded, and to prove that there are no cuts, because of course, it's easy to lie. You know, I put in a nice room tone underneath. I take a break. You know, I pee. I did not pee before I started this. I'm like really stressed. Number one anxiety in my life is not knowing when I'm going to be able to pee. If I'm in a movie theater, stressed. On a plane, fuck that. When I'm on a bus, when I'm in transit, that is like an absolute nightmare for me. And so really, what is a podcast if not an absolute nightmare for all of us? So to prove to you that there are no cuts, I am recording this entire episode also via my computer's webcam using everyone's favorite app that is still automatically loaded on your laptop, like you're making your MySpace photo from 2018, I don't know. Photo Booth. So I am filming myself in Photo Booth. If you want to watch the video feed of this episode, you can become a Gatekeeper Plus subscriber at patreon.com/155pod. I'm pretty sure that's the address. The link is in the description. And no one's ever typed a link. At least since 2018, no one's typed a link. But also because this episode is going to be appearing in your feeds on Valentine's Day, I am using the photo booth heart filter, which sort of cutely follows me as I move around the room. Unfortunately, I have none of the fancy, rich guy bullshit that Josiah has in order to make the podcast good, have other elements besides just one person talking. So there will be no actual video elements in this podcast besides this single webcam still shot of me with hearts above my head to prove that there are no cuts. There will be no YouTube videos you'll be watching. I also can't figure out how to run audio into GarageBand. So while you are enjoying what is likely the crispest version of my voice that you've heard in a long time, because it's not being recorded via Josiah's computer over my unreliable internet, you will not be hearing anything else. There are certainly going to be important pieces of audio that will be played during this episode, but you will be hearing them through my phone, which I will be holding up to this microphone. So if you've been on the 155 ride with us for a little bit, if you've always wanted this episode, and believe me, I don't know what I'm, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking everything up now. I thought I was, okay, hold on, I'm good now. If you've been on this ride with us for a minute, this is an episode that has been demanded. If you've just joined us for this ride, you honestly might want to sit this one out. But I can't tell you what to do. Before I jump behind the paywall, I am doing this as time theft. I'm going to close Slack. I'm going to close my emails. If I get a call, I will have to answer it. But again, that's all just part of the realness of this moment that we are experiencing together. So if you want a raw Sam Sutherland podcasting experience about the Blink-182 song, All the Small Things, please join me behind the paywall now as I do a thing that we've been talking about doing since February 2018. Come join me, friends. No cuts. I am not, Josiah and I have talked about this on the pod before, but we can talk about that behind the paywall.